I call the Honourable Damien O'Connor.
Mr. Speaker, this piece of legislation is typical of so much of what that member has brought to this House. It's a reactionary political posturing bill that attempts to get a few votes down in his own patch because a few people have jumped up and down about it. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, that this will not address the problem that we have across the country because we have inadequate infrastructure. That's the fact of the matter. There are hundreds of thousands of people who travel around in cars each and every day around this country, and when they stop at a rest stop or anywhere, then often, because there are no facilities, then they use the bushes for the toilet. Inappropriate, not what we want, I accept that. But this bill that just addresses the issue of camper vans staying overnight is just ridiculous. It will not address the problem that we have here. Mr. Speaker, the Tourism Industry Association went around the country for looking at this and they said, quote, "A strong, clear, targeted camping information is the cornerstone for achieving responsible camping practices in New Zealand. Developing a culture of environmental care underpinned by national and local visitor-friendly information is the key to addressing this." And no, you're not. No, you're not doing that. You've cut funding, Mr. Speaker. That minister has cut funding from the Department of Conservation. They have cut funding from the Swiss scheme that assisted local councils to put in place facilities. They are absolutely... I'm not allowed to use the word, am I? No. There's an H word.
No.
In this
Order.
Okay, sorry.
Member will not use a circumlocution to get around what he's trying to say.
Sorry. Mr. Speaker, this jackboot government is in fact has double standards in this area, Mr. Speaker. There are a whole lot of issues that this bill will not address. Mr. Speaker, I pointed to the number of people in cars. This will not help them. Mr. Speaker, we will have, and I was at a meeting the other day where the local council person turned around to the dock person and said, "Who's going to be policing this? Who is going to be the poo police? Will it be the Department of Conservation or will it be the local council?" Can the Minister answer that? Who's going to be the poo police?
The bill makes it very clear.
Oh, really? Oh, the bill makes it clear. Well, it's not known, and in fact the cost will be one to council or to the Department of Conservation, let alone the legal issues involved in trying to address it. Mr. Speaker, I'll finish because I don't want to carry on for too long. The main problem has been camper vans dumping and emptying their tanks. That has been the major... It's not the little pile and the little bit of white paper. In fact, where you go to locations, and I know many of them, it's where camper vans have dumped their effluent, large amounts of it, in one place. They most likely have not even stayed in that place. They most likely haven't stayed in that place, but as they get towards the end of their trip, because there are an inadequate number of dumping stations for these camper vans, they too often, Mr. Speaker, dump their effluent in inappropriate places. That is the problem. This bill will not address that, Mr. Speaker. Well, no more than currently, where we have littering bills, Mr. Speaker, and I have to say that as much as I support the submitters who came along in good faith and said this is an issue, it needs to be addressed, the government has cut funding to the organisations that should be implementing higher environmental standards. It refuses to bring in a nationwide program of uprating and upgrading and installing facilities to deal with the problem. And this piece of legislation is cheap posturing by that member who got on the front page of his local paper saying what a wonderful bill it will be. Mark my words, in 3 years' time, this will not have addressed the issue of effluent up and down this country because we have inadequate facilities, and it's about time we got on and put them in place.
I call the